Hello there. Can you guess what we're doing today? Welcome to CarSpyTV. Right, in this video we'll cover three things. Number one, how to use a trolley jack. Number two, how to confirm a jack is strong enough to lift your particular car. And number three, how to minimise the risk of getting hurt and damaging your vehicle. Step one is to make sure the jack is in good condition. For example, is there any damage to the socket, the frame, the arm, the saddle, the casters or the handle? Is there any sign of an oil leak down there? If there is a problem with the jack, it's better to find out now rather than when the car is in the air. This is the vehicle we're lifting today. It's a Nissan Micra, but how do we know that our jack is strong enough to lift this particular car? Well, every car has a VIN plate or a VIN sticker that confirms roughly what it weighs. Yours may be visible on one of the door pillars when the doors open, or it may be here in the engine bay. This car's plate is up there. Here's a close-up, and the figure that's relevant is the first one written in kilograms, which is 1,340, which is just over 1.3 metric tons. That's the maximum weight the car should be when fully laden with fuel, luggage and so on. Now, if we look at the trolley jack, we can see that its maximum lifting capacity is 2.5 tons. So it's more than capable of lifting part of the Nissan Micra, which even in its entirety weighs at most about 1.3 tons. Next, park the car on flat, hard, level ground such as tarmac or concrete. If you park on soft ground or uneven ground, the car's less stable on the jack and therefore more likely to fall off. Now, of course, make sure the parking brake is firmly applied. Leave the car in gear, if it's a manual, and slide some chocks under the tyres. Again, these steps minimise the chance of the car falling off its jack. Next, recognise that you can't simply shove the jack anywhere under the car and lift it. That's how people damage cars and hurt themselves. Instead, find one of the official jacking points that's reinforced to take the car's weight. The owner's manual of your car confirms where the jacking points are. On this Nissan Micra, we're using the jacking point just there on the sill behind the front right tyre. Here's a close-up, and as we can see, this jacking point is on a pinch weld. Now, before trusting any jacking point, just make sure it's in decent condition and capable of supporting the car's weight. So check, for example, for any damage caused by previous attempts to lift the car and for any excessive corrosion and holes. This one's a little bit scruffy, but nonetheless, it will do the job. Next, consider how to make the jack best fit the particular jacking point on your particular car. For example, you may decide that you get the best fit by simply jacking up directly on this metal saddle. Alternatively, you may get a better fit and protect the car by using a rubber jack pad. Now, these come in countless shapes and sizes, so you need to pick one that suits your application, but we have a couple of examples here. This one is flat, and sits like so. So you might use that if you're jacking up on a solid beam underneath the car. But today we're going to use this one instead because, as we can see, there's a groove in there and the jacking point on the Nissan Micra fits nicely in there. So for our scenario today, this is the best fit. We now turn our attention to this valve at the back of the trolley jack. See that? That valve has to be shut, otherwise the arm won't rise, and that somewhat defeats the purpose. So to close that valve, simply pop the handle onto it like so, and then gently turn the handle clockwise until the valve is snug, which is about there. Now withdraw the handle and slide it instead into the socket, like so. Now, if your particular trolley jack doesn't have a valve visible there, you've still got one, it just operates in a different way. And to close it, simply make sure the handle is in the socket as we see it now and turn it clockwise. The next stage is to slide the jack under the car and line it up with the jacking point above, and then just use the handle to raise it into position. But that's all we're doing at this point, raising it into position. We're not yet lifting the car. At this point, double check from various angles that the jack is in fact sitting properly on the jacking point. If it isn't, you'll have to have another go. And to do that, first return to the valve I showed you earlier and turn that anti-clockwise. That will lower the arm. You can then reposition the jack, of course, but before you pump it back up, don't forget to close the valve by turning it clockwise. Now, when you're happy the jack's sitting properly, as this one is, you can lift the car. So let's have a go at that. And it's best to do this at a moderate pace. Some people go at the speed of light, but that doesn't give you the chance to spot any problems early. And of course, every now and then, just stop, have a look at the jack and make sure it's still sitting in the right place. That one is. But if yours isn't, lower the jack and start again. And then just keep going until the car is as high as you need it to be, but no higher. That'll do. Now, if at this point you plan to crawl under the car to fix something, don't rely solely on the trolley jack in case it fails. Chuck some axle stands under there as well, because getting squashed by a car isn't fun. Anyway, when you've done whatever needs to be done, it's easy enough to lower the car. Just turn the valve slightly and slowly anti-clockwise. There we go. That's it, but before you go, don't forget to subscribe to CarSpyTV. That makes it easier to find my other content. Can you also please do me a favour and click like on this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.